welcome back to GirlMeetsUke. I'm Jody, and I'm here to explain everything you ever wanted to know about the Baritone ukulele. I just got this, and I have an unboxing video. This is my ka-sstu-b, Solid Spruce Travel Ukulele Baritone. So I just got this, and I realized I've played one song on my channel so far with this, and I realized a lot of people had some questions about baritone ukuleles, and I wanted to answer those for you now, especially if you're considering buying one or if you do not own a ukulele yet and you're trying to decide which size to get. So here we go. Are you ready? As you can see, I've got all four sizes represented here. We've got the soprano, the concert, the tenor, and the baritone. And in fact, for this first part of the video, I'm going to be using this tenor. Okay, so our first three ukuleles are all tuned C, G, E, A. I said that wrong. G, C, E, A. G, C, E, A. Alright? So they're all tuned the same. Our baritone is tuned D, G, B, E. Alright, so that is the major difference with the baritone. It is different tuning than all the other ukuleles, and obviously bigger as well, the biggest size. Quite a bit bigger, actually. So, what does that mean? It means if you learn how to play a G chord on soprano ukulele, you can play a G chord on a concert ukulele, and you can play a G chord on a tenor ukulele. But if you take that same formation on a baritone, it's going to be a D chord, okay? So what I'm trying to say is, because it's tuned differently, you play the chords differently. Okay, so these are all friendly. You can play the same song the exact same way on the different ukuleles, and you're going to get a different sound because the different bodies give it a different sound. I have seen, though, people try to explain that tenors are deeper or lower than sopranos, and that's not actually true. It's the same pitch, the same note. It's just a fuller, deeper sound, but it's not actually lower. Whereas on the baritone, it is lower. So I'm going to switch out real quickly these tenors, because on any ukulele you could use a low G. See here? When I strum those, that first one that I hit is not the lowest note. This one's actually the lowest note. So on this tenor, I have switched. You can buy a special low G string. So these are the same, but instead of a high G, I have a low G. All right, so I'm going to switch those out just so I can compare with the baritone better, because, as I said, this is D, G, B, E, but the D is a low D. Okay, so real quick, I'm just going to say there are other ways you can tune a baritone. You can buy different strings and tune it G, C, E, A, just like the other ones. And I've even seen people that buy tenor strings and put them on their baritone. And you can have a high D instead of the low D. And with the G, C, E, A tuning, you can have a high G or a low G. Okay, I'm just going to say that. I mean, that could be a whole nother video, and I have not experimented with other tunings, so I'm just going to talk about the traditional tuning, which is low D, G, B, E. So if I put my finger on this 5th fret of the baritone and I play the strings, it's the same as the traditional ukuleles, but with the low G. So that means the baritone baritone has all these other lower notes. Okay, so that is the major difference with the baritone. It is actually lower notes. So why would you buy a baritone? Why would you want a baritone? The number one reason, I think, would be for the sound. It sounds completely different than these. One reason is the tuning is different, the notes are lower, and the strings are different. If you look here, see these two strings are like guitar strings. They're wound, like, you hear that? They're wound like with metal. And then these two are nylon like the other ukuleles. Okay, so that gives you more of the like guitar sound. I hope you could hear me. My microphone was turned in. Okay, so that gives you more of a guitar sound. And speaking of guitar, the baritone is the same as the top four strings on the guitar. Okay, so it's like a guitar without these two lowest strings. So hold those and we... Okay. So the baritone is kind of like the gateway instrument between ukuleles and guitar. All right. So a reason why you might want the ukulele or the baritone ukulele is if you've already played guitar and you want to switch to ukulele. It's very easy because the chords are the same. You're just missing those top two strings. So on a guitar, I would play a D like this. See? Baritone, play a D like this. Same. On a guitar, I will play a C chord like this. Oops. I don't play, there we go. I don't play guitar much anymore and I get confused. But you play it like this. So since we don't have this string on the baritone ukulele, that is a C chord on baritone ukulele. Like that. See, we're just missing this string. So it is easy to learn the chords on a baritone ukulele if you already know the guitar, is what I'm trying to say. A is the same. G, on guitar you'd have these two fingers would be up pressing, but since those strings aren't there, this is G. So another reason why you might get a baritone ukulele is if you already know guitar. It's going to be a much smoother transition. I did not start on a baritone. I went from guitar to a concert ukulele, and it was a little confusing at first because the same fingerings on a guitar are different chords on a ukulele, a concert ukulele. And so when I was first learning, like I knew D on guitar, so is a G on a concert ukulele. And so I kept, first I would think of the guitar chord and then switch to and it was confusing. So I had to just open up a new part of my brain and just learn chords on ukulele and forget about what they are on guitar. And now that I have the baritone ukulele, I'm reopening the guitar part of my brain. So I don't even think about ukulele chords. I think about guitar chords when I'm playing the baritone ukulele. So you may get a baritone ukulele if you really want the challenge. If you have learned these other ukuleles and you want a challenge, and so you can get the baritone ukulele and learn the new names to the chords that are the same shape as the shapes on here. What I'm starting to get at, one thing I want to say is I don't actually recommend baritone ukulele if you are a beginner and you're just starting out on one of these, because I think it is confusing to go from a chord that has one name on this, and then the exact same fingering, it's a different chord on this. That can be confusing. So unless you already know how to play tons of instruments and you can pick up different instruments pretty smoothly, or if you already know guitar. If you know guitar, you're going to be fine. But if this is the only instrument you play and you're still learning on these, I would hold off and get more solid foundation with these before introducing a whole new ukulele, a whole new tuning. Now, again, you could use the GCEA tuning on a baritone and still get the full sound and not have to switch. And I don't know how I feel about that. I like the guitar tuning on here because that brings me to another reason why you might want a baritone ukulele. It's really beautiful for finger picking, especially with that low D. It's just so pretty and it sounds like a guitar. So especially if you know songs and you finger pick them on guitar, some songs are easy to translate to a baritone ukulele if you're not using a lot of those low strings notes. So you may want a baritone ukulele if you really like to finger pick, or you could just get a low G string on one of your other ukuleles and do really pretty finger picking as well. Okay, so those are my reasons for why you might want a baritone. And I already mentioned I don't necessarily recommend it for beginners unless you already know guitar and you're starting off your first ukulele as a baritone ukulele. Okay. And I also mentioned, maybe you want to eventually learn guitar, but you're going to start off on the ukulele. You may want to start off with the baritone ukulele, especially if you know you're trying to get to guitar. Like maybe if you're teaching a child, it might be easier to start with the baritone ukulele and then learn guitar. It's just these two are a lot more related than these. Some people like baritone ukuleles because you can transpose a song very quickly and easily. So you can, this is a great example. When I sing Wagon Wheel, I'll do it with the low G just for a better comparison. When I sing Wagon Wheel, it's in the key of G, and the key of G is not my friend. I either have to sing really low or really high. So I sing, the verse is low. I was heading south to the land of the pine, picking my way into North Carolina, staring up the road, I pray to God I see headlights. And then I sing the verse, the chorus is high on the. So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, hey, mama, rock me. So I can do it, but I love that song, but I don't love singing it in the key of G. But I do because to transpose it on the ukulele, I think it sounds weird. The voicing's different. So I just tried it the other day. Same fingering, but again, this is no longer a G. This is now a D. So now I'm actually playing in the key of D, but I'm doing the same fingering. Okay, so let's see. So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, hey, mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like a wind in the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, hey, mama, rock me. So that sits in my voice so much easier. So, and I didn't have to learn a new song. I just did the same fingering I've always done on a baritone ukulele, and it's actually a fourth down, fourth lower, because instead of playing it up here, I'm playing it down here. So this would be like, for instance, even though a C chord was not in there. Oh yeah, I did play C. So I played it up here, and then on the baritone it's down here. So that would be one nice use for a baritone if you want to transpose songs a fourth lower without having to change your fingering. You can do that. Another thing is for, again, the voicing. It's songs that, you know, on guitar, there's certain songs and I just don't like the way they sound on ukulele. For instance, this one by the Indigo Girls. Wait. Trying to tell you something about my life. Maybe give me insight between black and white. The best thing you've ever done for me was to help me take my life less seriously. It's only life after all. Okay, so I'm going to play those same chords. I'm not going to change the key. So my fingering is going to have to change to play those same chords in that same key on my tenor. So now I have to think about it. I was playing G, E minor, C, D. So, whoops. Wait. G, E minor, C, D, G, E minor. So if you listen to that, it sounds totally different. It's the same chords, but the voicing is different. And it just doesn't sound like the same song. And that happens sometimes, especially if there's songs that you've always played on guitar, and then you're using those same chords, but you're playing it on here. Sometimes they don't translate well, in my opinion. And so that's one reason why I got a baritone, is I wanted to play some of my guitar songs and have them sound more like what I'm used to them sounding like. So baritones are good for that. Baritones are like the sweet little baby cousin of the guitar. They're tuned the same, they sound similar, and the fingering is the same, except for you just don't have to worry about these lowest two strings. So I hope that made sense. I really do. The baritone ukulele, again, I don't recommend it for beginners, also because there's not as many resources. Like when you look up ukulele tutorials, like 95% of the time it's going to be with this tuning and this fingering for these kind of ukuleles. So you want to learn a song and it's for one of these. Again, you could do it the same fingering on here, but it's going to be a fourth lower. And that's not always going to sound good. It happened to for Wagon Wheel, which I was excited about, but it's harder to find resources for a baritone ukulele because it's totally different. And the thing that's so fun about ukuleles is that you can get all these different sizes and different woods and different strings and get all these different sounds with the same set of chords that you already know. So that's so fun to be able to intermix. You can't do that as easily with the baritone ukulele. But again, if you really like the sound of the baritone ukulele, if you already know how to play guitar, or you want to move on to guitar in the future, or if you want to be able to transpose and get lower notes than the baritone is, and if you like a challenge, then you may want to consider baritone ukulele. I hope I answered any questions you may have regarding this lovely instrument. But if not, please put them in the comments and I will answer them for you. And stay tuned. I've got a lot more songs that I want to play on this baritone for you. So you'll hear a lot more sound samples of the baritone. So thank you for watching. It's been 19 minutes. And if you're still watching, then maybe you should consider subscribing, because I've got lots more videos already on my channel and a lot more in store for you. So I will see you later. Have a great day, and don't forget to play your uke today, whichever one that happens to be. Goodbye.